Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. It is a beautiful day. It is, and I have not seen what Betty is up to today yet, but we'll probably end up checking that out. Um, uh, what's up, Jeremy? Um, uh, See, this is the kind of faith that my friends have in me. Like, that's the kind of faith that my friends have in me. Dude, I did that, bro. Okay? Nobody did it for me. Dick. um, so anyway, thanks, man. Hope you're doing good. I we're gonna go over a couple things. Something about me, guys, that you may already know. I am the YouTuber equivalent to a drunk dialer. I'll get some red wine in me, and love you too, bud. I'll get some red wine in me, and I'll see a panel, and then if I see somebody on that panel that's saying some shit that I'm just like, hold on, let me get up there. I always do this. I do this all the time. Last night I did it again. And we're gonna listen to that. Okay. We're gonna listen to that. Oh, totally, Jessica Neff. You don't even know. I mean, you might know. So this dude's channel, I'm hoping Cherry can go ahead and drop the link for this guy's channel. It's called Dollyvision. He seems like a really cool dude. I was enjoying his content, and he was cool with me being on the panel. And then someone real special showed up. Someone special showed up on the panel, and I just had to get up there.
Automatically convict them.
Yeah, with no proof.
Right, exactly.
I feel like they're trying to convict them because they just don't like them.
No,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
No proof or no evidence that they have done anything wrong in this case, and they're doing it just because they don't like them.
No, I think
there's no evidence. There's no evidence that Donna and Candace had anything. If anything, there is evidence to the contrary, actually.
That is not true.
Who's that?
That is absolutely true, Laura. That is absolutely true.
No, I think they just don't understand their culture.
Yeah, I mean, if you ain't lived up in the hills,
I mean,
you don't really know
you
think
that these two people are criminal geniuses? Do you think these two people who aren't criminal geniuses, according to everybody on this panel, correct? Y'all agree?
No.
Why would they? How would they be able to pass polygraph
Turn
tests?
your speaker
Both
down.
of them.
Who's
Three
echoing?
of
How
them.
many times has Jimmy told you that?
All right, who's echoing? Real
All right,
fast?
so I was echoing bad.
Him, that guy. Him.
No, what?
I was echoing bad, and then I got booted off, but not because I was echoing. They let me back on.
Isn't him? Somebody else.
It's Jen.
Oh, was it?
So
It's Jen.
we'll go ahead and
No,
let me.
drunk,
I
Hey,
couldn't see the
Linda,
chat
your
last
shirt
night.
you're in, by
Drunk
the way.
Tom has been in the backstage the whole time. He's sitting there patiently waiting. I see his eyeball. That was Jen. She was echoing real bad, and maybe the other guy was echoing real bad too. But you guys are good. Y'all had no echo. I don't know what's going on with them. You have to turn the show down in the background and stuff, or it starts to go super crazy.
Oh.
Now,
Well, I do. Well, that's just my opinion. That he was saying that they were, something like serial killers or they were professional killers. No, they're
now
not.
it's interesting because
That's not the point. I think
it's interesting because they were like, the panel, there was like 10 people on that panel, but everyone except Laura seemed to have some common sense. Like everyone except Keck.
He jumped in. I don't think he got his mic on, or he can't hear us or something like that. Okay, yeah, guys, if you get your mic situated, just come back into the room, but definitely turn it down in the background.
Yeah, I just muted the YouTube.
Okay, so this guy, so this guy's, I don't know his name, but his channel's name is Dollyvision. So yeah. Let me unmute that now.
Me on my other channel and then report me. That's how they try to take.
And I couldn't see the chat, but I'm seeing the chat now.
Them trolls is nasty.
Yeah, they'll just be like, they'll come on, act all cool. Next thing you know, their cameras are.
Yeah, the chat. This guy's chat was really nice to me, man. Like I'm looking at the chat. I couldn't see the chat because when I call in on a panel, like I do it from my phone and I'm using StreamYard and I can't really see the comments. But the chat, I'm looking at them and they were like really, really nice to me.
Fix this stuff. And I don't even think it was him. Glare.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Am I still echoing?
No.
I was actually echoing too. So I guess if it was me, I apologize. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine now. And we also got, I think this is Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Okay, I don't know what's going on here with his mic. Okay, what was you saying? That I don't think the people are super geniuses and got away with a crime, like you were saying.
No,
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
But I also know this, that you really don't. Sometimes you ain't got to be a super genius to get away with a crime. Sometimes dumb get away with it.
Nobody, and I can honestly say this, not myself or anybody that I associate with so far, that I know of, believes that I know of. I want to be clear about that I know of, believes that Don and Candace are totally off the table and they're not suspects either. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. My whole point is that we don't know. We don't have enough information.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, man.
But that still didn't give them the right to go down there and do what they did so well.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so these are all people.
Parents, and you're sitting there and you're going down there and you're telling them they're drunks and druggies. Meanwhile, let me ask all of you guys: if you guys lost your kids and then ended up losing your 3 boys afterwards, wouldn't you go a little bit deep in the deep end too?
I have lost a child, and I'm telling you, it doesn't go away.
I can't imagine that it would.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that it would.
I don't want to.
And everyone reacts.
Child.
Oh, it's terrible.
Everyone reacts different too. Everyone has different ways of reacting to pain, especially
I'm glad that you just said that. I'm glad that you just said that because that's become a cliche. That's become a cliche and it's minimized. The term "everyone grieves in their own way" has become a minimized cliche, but it's a cliche we have to remember because it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true.
Listen to me. But they didn't lose all their children because they're good people. Let's be real.
You don't know, but you don't know the circumstances.
The social services.
None of us.
I don't think that they were in the best conditions. The house definitely wasn't in the best conditions, and I ain't saying that they were the most horrible parents because I've seen worse parents. I think,
but they lost all their kids. Candace,
but that does not in any way, shape, or form make them guilty of, or even make them suspects, in some Flora. In no way, shape, or form.
Well, I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying is, let's not.
Why are you bringing it up? Why are you bringing it up?
because they're not exactly good parents.
Who cares? That's not your business.
Yep.
That's a private family matter.
That
That's
doesn't
not
make
your
them.
business.
I am not arguing with him. He always
No,
has
I
to be
agree.
right. I'm over it. Okay?
But because it doesn't matter if they're good parents or not, they still shouldn't have been treated like.
I gotta tell you guys, trolling Laura is just one of my favorite things in the world to do. It's because the fact is, dude, she thinks on a level. This is the issue, okay? The issue is that people like Laura, people like Molly Golightly, people like Bullhorn Betty, people like Jonathan Lee Riches, and apparently people like Olivia Cochina, they think on a level of judgment of others. They're afraid to look in the mirror themselves while treating everyone else like absolute garbage. And then, yeah, and then what they do is they just start throwing judgment at people. Because the fact is, just like these nice people on this panel were saying, that they're getting judged and they're getting blamed for Summer's disappearance simply because they don't approve of how they live. That's not responsible. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Nobody's saying you have to like them. Nobody's saying you have to like Don or Candace. Nobody's saying that. But what you do need to do is respect the fact that you don't have any information and that they are missing their kid. If you're not a total asshole, that's what you have to do. But all these people are doing are showing us consistently that they're just shitty people. And I don't mean Don and Candace. I mean, the Boob crew are just showing us that they're just shitty people consistently all the time, every single day. So, if you don't get to say something like you lost your kids, let's be real, you lost your kids because you're a shitty person. That's not necessarily true. The fact is, we don't actually know what the circumstances are that they lost their kids. We don't actually know. I mean, we simply just don't know. We don't know what those circumstances are. So it's totally shitty and irresponsible to say things like, let's be real, just for the sake of shock and for the sake of conflict with people on a panel. Let's be real, they lost their kids because they're bad people. No, that's not necessarily true. You don't know why they lost their kids. And the fact is, it's absolutely irrelevant to whether or not they had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. It's absolutely irrelevant. Seeing as we don't have the information, we have to assume that it's irrelevant. It may be relevant. It's possible that it's relevant, but we don't know. That's just the facts. That's just the facts. And those facts aren't going to go away until we get more information from law enforcement. It's just that simple. But that's enough about CAC. So now what's going on? I don't know if you guys caught Burnt Toast live last night, but it was fantastic as always. Make sure to go check out the replay if you missed it. But it was pretty fantastic. But while she was live, some information started rolling in. So Chad Jonathan Lee Riches. Shut up, Leo. I'm live, dude. Don't yell at me, bro. Jonathan Lee Riches tweeted, Leo, stop, please. Jonathan Lee Riches tweeted that he was calling for a protest in front of Crude AF's house. And in order to do that, you'd have to dox him. Now, Crude AF, I don't know him all that well, but we've been chatting here and there. And I'm a big fan of his channel. I really enjoy it. I have no reason to believe that he's not a good person. I do believe that he is a family man. So their plan now, since they can't do shit with copyright, since they don't have lawsuits to file because they can't, they'll lose. Since it's finally getting through their skulls that we can run their content and make fun of them and call them assholes all day if we want to, every day if we want to. We can absolutely do that. And they have to just sit there and take it. Or what they're going to end up doing is protesting in front of a creator's house, doxing them, and then going and harassing a creator at their house with bullhorns, disturbing their neighbors. And I wonder why they think that's going to go well for them. I wonder why. A part of me hopes that they do it in the sense that that they'll end up getting arrested and getting locked up. They'll absolutely end up getting arrested and getting locked up, because that's just plain harassment. You don't get to hide behind the First Amendment and harass people, because all of this is evidence that they are just angry about the fact that they can't do shit about the fact that we are running their content. Now, let's hear what Blowhard said the other day, what the Strangler said about protesting in front of creators' houses. She said this just the day before yesterday.
At any rate, no, we're not protesting another creator's house. That's stupid and foolish. At any rate, no, we're not protesting another creator's house. That's stupid and foolish. We're just.
One more time.
At any rate, no, we're not protesting another creator's house. That's stupid and foolish.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And guess what? Just out of general principle, because I think it's fun now, because it's getting to them so much, since they think it's okay to harass people, I'm going to exercise my right to fair use. I'm going to continue to do it. And we're going to find some more content of theirs to stream for fun and trash them because it's fun. She's live.
Dog dare you. You can't say you're for due process, yet be against due process.
Look at the hatred, bro. So right now, I guess what she's doing is talking about, she's talking about how we're talking about her arrest record. Because I am certain that Burnt Toast, once she's gotten wind of Burnt Toast, her blood boils. And you can see how mad she is right now. So now she's just trying to say, oh, well, we can't get behind due process. I mean, it's true, but the problem is what she's talking about. Make no mistake. She's making a valid point. You can't be for due process and then not be for due process, because apparently she hasn't been convicted, right? But The fact is in those arrest records, in those police reports, almost all of them state that the victims that she put her hands on, the numerous ones, would refuse to press charges. So no, you can't convict when you've intimidated someone, that you beat and that you abuse. No. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, so don't sit here and act like, oh, well, the fact that you weren't convicted doesn't matter when it's stated on record, in public record, that you intimidated your victims.
Enough said about that. So anyways, you know, we've been focusing a lot on Summer Wells.
No, you haven't.
We've been
no, you haven't.
In an enormous effort on this fight.
You haven't focused on Summer at all. You focused on Don and Candace and trying to find new ways to harass them.
5-year-old girl. We have Summer's army. Summer, we know what happened.
See, that shit pisses me off so bad. The fact that she has the audacity, because Burnt Toast last night played her. Burnt Toast last night played her claiming that Summer is their baby. That's their baby. It's no longer Don and Candace's. It's their baby. The fact that you would have the audacity to say that about a child and the parents of a missing child is disgusting when you don't have any evidence against them. You have nothing. So here she is claiming Summer's army, Summer's army. No.
You know, keep talking about it and keep bringing it to light. We never want to forget Summer. We never want to move past Summer. We want to keep her in the forefront. But the bottom line is, in my mind, I know what happened. I know who's responsible.
No, you don't.
It is all about...
You don't have any idea.
Law enforcement.
Yeah.
Preparing the case to take the parents to court. Thank you. It's hard to say tits up.
I mean, maybe. So why are you interfering with their investigation then? Why are you fucking with the witnesses? Why are you victimizing the people that you think are responsible because they're going to have a sympathetic jury? All you're doing is building a defense for them. I mean, this is how stupid these people are.
Thanks, tits up. Oh my goodness. Maybe my tits need to be up. I might be a happier woman today.
Well, I mean, they're dragging on the floor.
40s are not always that pleasant in that respect. You still look good. At least they still look good, right? But you know, gravity's starting to take its effect. Anyways.
Yeah. Definitely gravity.
But we know what happened. I was sitting there chatting with Jonathan, and I was saying, we really need to start looking at the maps and looking at, because we know that there was from 3:30 to about 5:30, there was a 2-hour window right there that we need to find out where Don and Wells were together. They were together. They were together.
That's a good point.
We need to find out where.
That's a good point, Hillbilly Nitro.
We've heard a lot.
So, yeah, if she knows what happened, why were they running around hanging up flyers of Summer everywhere? I mean, if they think that she's deceased and she's so full on convinced, without a doubt, that Don and Candace buried Summer somewhere, well, why are they? I mean, this is just a farce. These people have no idea what they're doing other than just harassing people. giving people a hard time.
A lot of things. We have a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, that's all you have is assumptions.
We have a lot of assumptions.
All you have is assumptions. Literally all you have.
And I think we need to really be proactive. Oh my God. Oh, Sherry, thank you. That's not necessary. I appreciate all your love and support. I do. You guys are just amazing. It almost, anyways, I know that this stuff is hard. I know that, and me talking about my past and everything, it inspires other people to talk about their past. And you know what? It takes us women opening our mouths and letting people know that they're not alone for us to.
Thank you so much, Patty Whack. I appreciate that. Love your content, critical thinking. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Keep going through this because, even today when I was just like at my wit's end, I have 5 minutes with Olivia, right? I'm on the phone with her for 5 minutes and my whole mood changes. And that's what
to elaborate a little bit on that. That's why I love my chat, because you guys actually apply. I remember that was Critical K's whole thing is critical thinking, but she didn't think critically. She just spewed a bunch of bullshit and dressed it up real nice with plagiarizing, other people and calling herself a writer. But it was her way or no way, right? I actually had an audience that were critical thinkers, which I have now, which I've worked very hard to build. So thank you guys for actually using common sense and thinking outside of the box when it comes to certain things. Because the fact is that it's easy. It's easy to just point a finger at somebody because you think that they did something based on the fact that you don't like them. It's super easy to do that. What's not easy is to actually think and look at all of the facts and then come to terms. Hey, you know what? Now that I'm looking at all the facts, I don't think I feel the same way as I did. I have to entertain the very possibility that these people are telling the truth and missing their child. I have to entertain that possibility. As a matter of fact, the truth is you have to assume it from the jump until you get all the facts. Unless you're just an asshole. Unless you're a piece of shit. I mean, that's just how that is. There's no denying that. Summer is in fact missing. We have no information as to what happened to her at all.
Women do for each other. That's the kind of connection that women have for each other, the impact that strong women and trust that we have. I mean, there's nothing better than flower power. I tell you what, I was one of those tomboys, and my best friends were mostly men growing up. I shouldn't say men, boys. I mean, even from kindergarten. I remember my first best friend was Tyler Hoffman.
I remember my first best friend was Tyler Hoffman, and I remember I made him my friend after I beat the shit out of him in the schoolyard. And then I made him become my friend. I forced him.
I don't know. I wasn't really the girly girl. I never really gravitated to the girly girls. And it's weird because now that I'm older,
they're not as much fun to beat up for you.
My connection with my girlfriends are, having those women, those other strong women in my life that really impact me. So at any rate, getting back to Summer. We love her. There's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind of what happened. It's just a matter of finding out where she's at. And it's not a matter of who did it. I have a clear understanding of what happened. Do I think Candace beat the crap out of her daughter and murdered her? No, I do not. No, I do not. I don't.
Unreal. Of course, we're gonna hear this riveting theory in just a second here. But yeah, I'm willing to bet she beat Tyler's ass too.
I don't believe that. There's no evidence of that.
There's no evidence of what you're saying either.
But at some point, you know, and the only reason why I'm going to keep Summer in the forefront of these conversations.
Her stupid fucking theory is that Summer drowned in the lake and then they covered it up. That's her stupid fucking theory. And this is the thing. What they don't seem to understand. Now, the kids, this is what you have to understand. You're going to tell me. I mean, because the kids have been out of that house for a while. The 3 boys have been gone for a minute, man. You know what I mean? For months. So you're going to tell me that the TBI, the FBI, these people did not conduct forensic interviews with these children? Because they don't have their parents there to coach them or intimidate them anymore. Because that's what they would have to have done. In order for all of them to have the same story, because they said that they saw Summer, everybody's been consistent. Newbie here. Everyone is really cool here. Love your content. I wouldn't want these people looking for my lost keys, much less interjecting into a missing persons case. Exactly. Thank you so much, Magnolia Moonshine. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Yeah, it's a theory based on more speculation. But if you had any common sense at all, any common sense and any type of minimal knowledge of how an investigation is conducted, just simply by following cases, by watching ID channel for a couple of hours. When there's a child involved, what they do when there's children who are witnesses, they do what's called forensic interviews with these children. They get an expert who specializes, a mental health professional in law enforcement who specializes in getting the truth from children without interrogating them. D. Marie 85, thank you so much. Let's see. Glad I made the live. Thank you for speaking out against the idiots in the world. Hey, it's my pleasure. I'd be a liar if I didn't say it was fun. But I'm more grateful that you guys enjoy it. Like, it blows my mind that you guys actually like listening to me sit here fucking run my mouth. So yeah, everyone knows that these are mental health professionals in law enforcement who specialize in talking to children who are witnesses and getting information from them. Those are called forensic interviews. So there's no way at this point, if they're saying that she was alive, she was planting stuff with her grandma, I mean, like, you're going to tell me these kids have been out of the influence, the possible influence of Don and or Candace for months. And these law enforcement officers have not conducted forensic interviews with these kids separately, with these 3 young boys separately. If they managed to get the information from them, don't you think that Don and Candace would be under arrest right now? Because I've seen people get arrested with less. I've seen people get convicted with less evidence. Look at the Joe Clyde Daniels case. Look at the Joe Clyde Daniels case. There was literally no physical evidence. He was convicted on circumstantial evidence. Joe Ray Daniels, Joe Clyde Daniels' dad. He was convicted on pure circumstantial evidence. I mean, and that was here in Tennessee, people. In the state of Tennessee, you can convict on circumstantial evidence. See, I wouldn't expect any of these idiots to know any of this, what I'm saying. You know, they look at a flyer and they think that they're experts on Summer Wells. But, you know, I mean, that's it. Like, That's why I say there's more evidence to the contrary rather than evidence saying that Don and Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. There's actually more evidence to the contrary. That example being one of them. That's evidence to me. That speaks volumes to me. Because one of these kids, one of these three boys would have slipped something up in the custody of the state for all these months. They would have slipped something up. I guarantee you that forensic interviews have taken place. See something here. Okay. What's up, buddy? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it just doesn't make sense that these people can just jump to this conclusion. They look at a picture of a child sleeping in a car and automatically think, and like, and what's funny is they accidentally took video. Grandma didn't, she had it on a video instead of photo. And according to Candace, she wanted to get Summer with her arm up. She wanted to get a picture with her arm up. Like, why would they? I mean, and what would be the motive to hide it? If she thinks that an accident took place, what would be the motive to hide it? Why wouldn't she try to save her child's life? Because I'm not getting the impression that Candace was the kind of mother that didn't like Summer. I'm just not getting that impression. Because all of the video and all of the pictures that are taken by Candace of Summer. Lover of the law. Let me see. The glare, you crack me up. Love your cursy words. I can't get over the asinine rhetoric. What credentials do the team have? I've done no research on any of them. Oh, well, they have. I answered this question yesterday. Their credentials consist of having ridiculous criminal records. That's their experience with the law. Just asinine, horrible criminal records. This one here that I'm talking about right now, that I'm showing and streaming her content, this one has a violent record. She has a violent record. Everyone she lives with, if she doesn't get away, she hits them. Every single person that she's ever lived with, basically.
Is because I refuse to allow the evil to win. You're not going to shut me up. You're not going to tone me down. You're not going to intimidate me. You're not going to belittle me. You're not.
Well, no, I'm going to belittle you. Yeah. All the other stuff, okay. But I'm going to belittle you. I'm doing that right now because you're a moron. T King, thank you so much. The wilder the accusation, the more attention they get themselves. The boobs don't care for Summer. Love your channel. Love you too. Thank you. I mean, this is ridiculous, dude.
I'm gonna, I don't care what you do to me. I don't care. Do whatever you must. We have Summer's Army here, but she's not the only one. There are so many more children out there that need our attention and need our help. And we have built this.
I'm going to correct you there. There are so many more children there that need attention and need help. But the last fucking thing they need is your help. The last thing that any of these kids, these poor kids and parents need is your help. Promise you that.
this amazing Summer's Army that is going to help many more children in the future.
Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? I mean, dude, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to open up that can of worms.
Brought to light domestic violence in a way that nobody had ever seen or thought of. Summer is doing the same thing for children. Which brings me to the next point. And we have built this amazing Summer's Army that is going to help many more children in the future. Just as Gabby brought to light domestic violence in a way that nobody had ever seen.
Okay, but what about your domestic violence? The domestic violence, by the way, that there is proof of, an abundant amount of proof of, okay? An abundant amount of proof of her domestic violence, and yet she has yet to take any accountability for it. None. She calls herself a victim of domestic violence. How's that possible? How's that possible? Like,
or thought of. Summer is doing the same thing for children. Which brings me to the next point of our Department of Children and Family Services around this country.
Now,
they're overworked.
This is something that the one thing that I did agree with Critical K that she used to say, that it's kind of absurd to make these victims into some sort of saints. You know, like, yes, Summer, and I'm not saying that Summer's guilty of anything. That's not even implying that. What I'm saying is she's using the idea of Summer and saying Summer has inspired all these other kids. No, she hasn't. Summer just went missing. Summer just went missing. Now, Summer going missing, the action of that has inspired a lot of people to start paying more attention and take care of their kids a little closer. It's inspired people to create, to make and to become aware and spread that awareness on the dangers of what could happen to a small child. Sure, the actions of her going missing have done that, but Summer hasn't actually done anything. So to sit here and say Summer is this, you know, inspiring angel to everyone, it's like, that's a little absurd. And, you know, like Critical K, when she would say it, she would sound like a total fucking asshole, but I knew what she meant when she would say it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't help find her, you know, putting her on t-shirts and shit like that. That doesn't, you know what I mean? It's just weird. It's weird.
They're underfunded. They don't have homes to pull these kids out of and send them to. Something has got to be done on a national level.
It is being done on a national level.
As I was talking this morning, I brought up my mention.
It is being done on a national level. That's why the FBI is involved. Dummy.
Panic. Lovely people. You know, everybody has their past problems, right? So there's no dispute that people, you know, even good people that have never had any issues with the law and stuff still have their past problems. Nobody is perfect, right? Nobody can live in a glass house because that glass house will be shattered by somebody.
Yeah, yours is coming.
And, you know, the stuff that's going on in their life right now
she actually used the glass house analogy. That shows you how delusional she is, how self-unaware she is. She actually just used the glass house analogy. I love it. It never like this. She just keeps going, dude. It's crazy to me.
A man that's around the husband's half's children, whacking his shit off. Excuse my language. At a preschool or one of those kiddie daycares,
Totally.
Those kid daycare centers,
Yeah,
out in the front parking lot.
Totally, Caleb. That's because she is the ultimate Karen. She is the Terminator Karen, the K1000. That's why.
That to me is a sexual deviant.
Wait,
and when you
what?
have CPS knowingly parking lot, that to or one of those kiddie daycares, those kid daycare centers out in the front parking lot, that to me is a sexual deviant. And when you have CPS,
I don't feel like rewinding.
Knowingly allow those children to stay in a home with a sexual deviant, there is a huge problem.
See, that's really.
I don't know what the laws are in.
That's really messed up. That's really messed up. Because you don't have any proof of this stuff. You can't go around calling people sexual deviants when you don't have any proof of it. I love my chat. Dude, her house is glassier than MGL's eyes, for fuck's sake.
In each state. But I think we need to have standard governance across the board when it's dealing with these children. People in Michigan should have the same laws related to their kids and what is the cause for removal from Michigan as it is in Florida, from California as it is in New York. Why are these things not being done?
First of all, moron. And she calls herself a Republican, which I think is really, really funny. She calls herself a conservative, a Republican. One of these things, and I'm not, and I'm not a liberal either. But one thing that makes this country great, the reason why we have states, okay? Because each state is independent from the other. We supposedly don't live under a tyrannical government where everything is a federal law. That's what makes us a free country. That's why here in Tennessee, Biden can go, you know what? We're going to do a federal mandate on this, and this. And then the governor of Tennessee can go, I'm not going to implement that. No, you can't make me. It's just that simple. And a lot of that is going on right now. A lot of there's a lot of governors and a lot of mayors that are like, I don't care what Biden says. I'm not doing that because it's their state. They're charged with the responsibility of running the state. The president can't interfere with that. Just like the mayor of Chicago, they have to request federal help, right? When there was all this crime going on, Trump at one point said, all the mayor of Chicago has to do, all she's got to do is just that Beetlejuice looking lady. All she's got to do is ask me for help. Because he can't overstep his boundaries as president and start sending troops in there. He can't do that. She has to ask for help. That's how that works. And all he would say is just ask anytime. And then, yeah, just recently, she asked for federal help because she let her city go nuts. So that's just a basic little social studies lesson for you guys. You know, I know she's not listening because she's too busy running her damn mouth, but
these children are being injured. And then not only that, the background check of foster parents and people that take in this in group homes. Who's doing the investigation of these homes? Things are happening in these homes to these children. You're taking them out of one bad environment and putting them into another. This is not acceptable anymore.
Now that I agree with. Unbelievable that she just said something that I agree with. yeah, there has to be a lot of, you know, and I don't think it should be done federally necessarily, for the reasons that I just stated, because I am a patriot and I love America for these reasons. But yeah, CPS Defects or whatever it's called where you live, there's definitely problems in the system. Some states are better than others, you know, but we're seeing a lot of cases. We are seeing a lot of cases lately where a child ends up hurt by either a foster parent or parents. I covered this and I already forgot the child's name. God, it starts with an H too. But the natural parents, it happened in Washington. The natural parents, the kid was taken from, the little girl was taken from her foster parents who were, and it was a good home, and given back to the natural parents who were meth heads, and they burned the house down, and nobody knows where the child is. Nobody can find the child. No, I don't think it's Harmony. No, I don't think it's Harmony. Oakley Carlson. Yes, there you go. Thank you so much. Oakley Carlson. I covered this. I covered this case. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for reminding me of her name. Yeah, I mean, the house burned down. I went over all the pictures of the house and everything like that. It's really sad. And the foster parents truly love this child. They put her in dance classes and she was happy. She was loved. And the system failed this child. The system absolutely failed this child. So that I agree with. That's something I don't agree with what she's saying you have to do. I mean, one way or the other, this woman talks about something, she's going to sound stupid at some point. Again, she's trying to talk about different, you know, implementing a federal thing in every state, blah, 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 that all the laws should be the same in every state. No, man, no. So yeah, that's just bad. That's not good. That is not America. But she's sitting here just, you know, but I do agree that something needs to improve. Something most definitely needs to improve when it comes to these kids that are caught up in the system. That is the as far as I'm going to go is agreeing with her.
Just like we're tired of dealing with more Gabby Petito's, which I did shortly thereafter from Gabby Petito. I was out there on the scene covering Kathleen Moore.
You weren't out there covering anything. You were just out there fucking up an investigation.
Sorry, my cousin's calling. Kathleen Moore, same scenario, except her body was just in the backyard. I'm tired of dealing with Gabby Petito's. I'm tired of dealing with Summer Wells. Something has got to be done in this country. Enough's enough.
Like,
I'm not sure how
she's just running her mouth. All she's doing is complaining. Something has to be done. What are you going to abolish murder? You're going to stop domestic violence? Really? That's your plan? Something's got to be done in this country because that shit can't happen anymore. Yeah, it sucks that it happens. What you do is you do what the rest of us over here on the smart side of YouTube, what you do is you create awareness on the issue, and it puts more pressure on law enforcement to put more effort into these cases. That's what you do. That's it. That's it. But you let law enforcement do their job. Make no mistake. You don't interfere with their investigation. You just simply create awareness so that the politicians in the police department and the higher ups, the commissioners, the chiefs, they deal with the press. And then they say, hey, we're getting the person under them. I mean, if you've seen any cop movie, that's what happens. The big person at the top with all the bells and whistles all over their uniform, they talk to the captain and they say, hey, we're getting a lot of pressure from the press to take care of this. We need to make this go away. And so the cops end up working overtime and then solving this case. That's what you do. That's the responsible thing to do. That's it. Like, I don't know why this lady thinks, what is she gonna, she's gonna stop murder. She's gonna abolish the whole problem of missing children. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, that's incredible. I hope you do it. Good for you. Let me know how that works out.
Carly, we got a sex trafficking trade that's going on in this country. But I can tell you that these people, like I can tell you out of 3 cases I dealt with, people keep throwing that they're sex trafficked. And you know what? All 3 of them ended up being dead. So we have to understand what sex trafficking looks like.
Okay. When a child is trafficked, or a woman is trafficked, or whatever, anyone who's been trafficked, usually because they were taken against their will, they end up murdered because they're potential witnesses. That's how that works. That's, yeah. What do you think you were gonna, I mean, this lady has no fucking clue what she's talking about.
Looks like, and just because somebody disappears does not mean they're sex trafficked. The reason why I bring this up is because in many cases, people are looking in the streets for an alive person, but they're failing to see what's right in front of their face because the person is dead and probably in the backyard. You get what I'm saying? So we're focusing all of our attention.
I love to see people in her chat say that I'm streaming them. I love when that happens. The Clara is streaming you. Yep, I am. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Way over here when it needs to be focused right here. So that's why I am very adamant about, talking to people that are in the inner circle.
You're adamant about being loud. That's it. You're adamant about being loud.
In trying to find as much information as possible about them. In many cases, the families that aren't guilty, bring us in their home and tell us, everything about the victim.
I love how she's trying to come off like she follows all these cases. I love that. It's so funny to me because there's she was doing jack shit in crime cases prior to Gabby Petito. And the only reason she jumped on that bandwagon is because it was a bandwagon that everyone was jumping on. Shit, I jumped on it. Everyone talked about it. I mean, but I've been covering cases on this channel for 3 years. 3 years. And what's funny is if they humbled themselves and went, hey, this Summer Wells case really, really got to me, man. But I don't really know what I'm doing as a YouTuber. Do you think you could help me out? I would have been happy to. That's exactly what John Crime said on his A Scandal channel. That's exactly what he did. He talked to the chat, and this is a guy who covers crime cases. He's a great true crime creator. So, but he's not, he wasn't too proud to simply ask his chat and listen to his audience. Hey, I don't really know anything about the Summer Wells case. Can you guys tell me about this and this? What about this and this? And he'd look at the chat. And I answered a lot of questions for him because I know a lot about the case. And it was just one courtesy. It was a simple courtesy to a fellow creator because we do this for the right reasons, the same right reasons. Like, and all you have to look at, I want to be clear about something else. Something else speaks absolute volumes, people. Something else speaks absolute volumes. They lack a foundation, okay? The foundation that I have, that I share with Crude AF, Burnt Toast, John, is a scandal, cracking cases, hell, even Benny. The foundation that keeps us from going at each other and turning on each other is because we genuinely care. It's because we care about the fact that Summer Wells is missing and law enforcement's investigation is being fucked with because the family is being harassed. We all have a clear understanding of this. Every creator that I just named. It's not like we're a team. We're not going around calling ourselves some sort of team with some bullshit superhero name. We're not doing that. We're all completely independent. We just happen to have this thing in common. None of us are lumping up ourselves with the others. I mean, I might do a panel. I've had Burnt Toast on this panel. I might do a panel with Crude AF. We were supposed to. We just never have gotten around to it. But none of us claim to be lumped up into the same thing. Crude AF and Burnt Toast are not crime channels. You know what I'm saying? So here are these people. So we don't claim to be a team. We just all seem to have a common interest because we see something horrible happening and we have strong opinions on it. So we support each other because we each have the same agenda, which is to create awareness that these people and put pressure that these people are doing something terrible and awful. So, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you have these people who call themselves a team and they tear each other apart. They throw each other under the bus constantly. I mean, what does that tell you? What that tells me is that this team has no glue holding them together. Each one of them is a self-serving asshole using a missing child to capitalize their own interests. That's all. That's the only thing all of them have in common. That's the only glue holding them together. And that's not strong glue. That's why these people are getting torn apart. That's why the entire internet right now is focused on why are these people being such assholes? You know how many channels are talking about them? The channels that I just named aren't even scratching the surface. That panel that I was on yesterday, I've never heard of it. Someone sent me the link and was like, Laura's on panel. I was like, watch this. That's all that happened. I'd never even heard of that channel. There's so many channels talking about this, talking about them. How can all of these YouTube channels be wrong? How can all of these YouTube channels be wrong? And yet they stand by their shit. It's crazy to me, man.
You know, in the case of Kathleen Moore, you know, she did have a background. Did it justify what she would?
Shut up.
Of course not. Your background never justifies that kind of trauma. But they were very honest about that.
Now I've talked to Duty Ron many times. Why is that? Oh, Duty Ron's got the same intro I do. I was like, why is my shit starting again? Let me see. What? I think that was here. Yeah. All right.
Is your content targeting the true search intent of your audience?
Everybody keeps telling me
With
to watch
SEMrush,
this.
it's easy to build a perfect match. Instantly.
Depending on where you're watching, welcome to another edition of Crime Time with Duty Ron.
Yeah, people keep telling me to watch this. I like Duty Ron a lot. He has my respect.
Guys, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you will get all things Duty Ron when I go live or upload another video. Special thank you to Lazy Bee Mama, retrained, and they do.
All right, thank you for letting me know the timestamp, Luigi Lollipop, because I don't want to go over this whole video.
Do a lot of stuff. These divers have to be certified to dive. But the reason I'm bringing them up is because there's so much hogwash. There's so much buffoonery. There's so many jagaloons who are.
I love when Duty Ron says jagaloons. The first time I heard him say that, I was on what were we talking about? We were talking about a case that was being handled in a poor manner. I can't remember which case it was. Maybe the Heidi Broussard case. I'm not sure. But I was on panel with Duty Ron on Mommy Rambling Vlogs on Carolyn's channel. So I was on panel with Carolyn, and on her channel and Duty Ron was on panel with us. And then that's totally Duty Ron's word is jagaloons. Like, he said that, and I was just like loving it. I was cracking up.
Disgracing the missing. You have the nightmare that's going on with Summer Wells case, right? You have the craziness, the insanity that went on out in front of Brian Laundrie's home. You have people who are just not helping in finding the missing and being actually slowing down.
For those of you who don't know, Duty Ron is a retired NYPD homicide detective. Okay? He knows what he's talking about.
Because you're taking police and their resources where they have to come and respond to disputes and disturbances.
Yeah.
Nobody does anything good when you go and harass people. These groups that I'm mentioning to you, Chaos Divers, Sam the Adventure Man, Adventures with Purpose, Equisearch, and Mark Class with the Class Kids Foundation. They go and help law enforcement.
I've heard that so many times, Caleb. I always crack up because I guess the name Caleb is foreign to Duty Ron, and he's always kind. You know, he goes down and gives shout outs in his chat. You know what I mean? He's a cool dude. But he's like, whenever Caleb makes a comment, he calls him Khalib. He's like the substitute teacher on that Key and Peele skit. Khalib. Khalib, is there a Khalib here? Khalib, it's Caleb. What? Get out. No, Duty Ron didn't do that. It just reminded me of that Key and Peele skit. So yeah, I always laugh because I'm just like, oh, I guess Duty Ron's never heard the name Caleb before.
Enforcement search for missing. They go and help law enforcement without sitting there and causing a disorderly conduct situation. Jagaloons and people who are in it for other purposes than helping finding the missing are distractions. They're a distraction. It's despicable and disgraceful.
Yep.
So why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to talk about, Kyra, I'm talking about it. These three groups that I just mentioned to you, EquiSearch Midwest, actually it's 5 groups that I mentioned: EquiSearch, Mark Class Kids from the Class Kids Foundation, Sam the Adventure Man, Adventures with Purpose, and Chaos Divers. And there's many more that are out there, but I don't know of them. But these guys are bringing home cold cases, people who have gone missing for upwards close to 20 years. It's just unbelievable. Gary, I'm not mentioning, listen, let's not get into any kind of mentioning of names, but dignity and respect for the victims and the families are very, very important.
Now,
you see
what Duty Ron's doing there by not mentioning names. I mean, he's respectful, but I don't believe that he's doing that out of respect for these idiots. I think that he's not mentioning names because he doesn't want his channel to steer in the direction that like mine is at right now. He has very, very credible content because he's a former investigator. He's a retired law enforcement officer. He's built a lot of credibility in the YouTube community. So what he doesn't want to do is, whoa, what's up, Rich? It's good to see you, bud. What he does not want to do is get his followers to go and see what these people are doing. That's the last thing that he wants to do. He doesn't want them promoted in any way, shape, or form.
I mentioned on my last video, it's very difficult for a police detective to go to a home and say, Mom, Dad, your son or daughter, your loved one has committed suicide or has been killed. It's a very, very hard thing to do. It's hard for the investigators. It's hard for obviously the family. It's hard for everybody involved. So my point is listen, I'm going to make this as short and sweet as I can. The people and the organizations that I mentioned here today will be linked down below in the description. Let me know if you understand what I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at is,
let me guess what he's getting at, because what he's doing right now is great. What he's doing right now is giving examples of freelance nonprofit groups that actually help these cases. He's focusing on the positive, right? Because he knows these people, because he's worked with these people. So he's educated in this. The only one that I know of actually is Tim Miller and EquiSearch. That's it. That's the only one I know of. But he knows them all. You know what I mean? Like, because he's had to work with them. He's actually aware, because he's experienced with working with these kind of groups that actually do good. He's seeing, coming from a retired law enforcement perspective, who has actually worked cases. These idiots are not doing anything right. They're jagaloons. They're not doing it how it's done.
Subscribe and support people who are doing good, positive things. If you want to become, like many people ask me, how can I become a part of this? How can I help? Well, it's twofold. Be careful of who you support and help.
Yep.
Because you want to know what they're doing, if they're doing something good. Don't just buy a bag of goods from some snake oil salesman on the internet that's telling you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Carol Loving Alaska, thank you so much for the support.
Which is exactly what's going on.
Thank you, Duty Ron. In other words, people sell bags of goods all day long on the internet. Until you see actions speak louder than words, until you see them do something, be cautious about when you want to send support to them, because it doesn't necessarily mean your support is going to be going in the right direction. Example, Crime Time with Duty Ron, and I'm going to bring up myself because it's all of you I'm bringing up. I'm not bringing up just this to highlight myself, but our community here, Crime Time with Duty Ron, has supported Orrin and Orson West, Sincere and Classic, for over a year.
Yeah.
And $15,000
he has
of your money.
Knowing where you came from, it gives you a sense of, this is who I am.
Oh my
money. Mystery Maven, anybody who is in this chat, anybody that is a channel member, anybody that's a Patreon supporter, anybody that has sent super chats, $15,000 in 2021 went to keep awareness for Sincere and Classic. That's your money being spent going to Roro and going to the Lamar advertising and helping to find the missing, to help find the boys. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Exactly.
Let me say something about Jocelyn.
That's my point.
This is a great person who reached.
How can anybody with any common sense at all whatsoever give up their hard-earned money to fund people marching around with a bunch of slanderous signs and blowing a bullhorn and getting someone fired from their job? How can somebody fund that? How can somebody be like, oh my God, that's awesome, here's my money? That doesn't make any sense at all. That is the equivalent. It makes more sense to tip a stripper. And I am of the opinion that strip clubs are the biggest waste of money ever. It's the equivalent to flushing money down the toilet. It's stupid. It's just stupid. If you're one of those people who frequent the strip club. Now I can see being well, I've got extra money and we're going to go celebrate a bachelor party and have a good time this one time. I get that. That's fine. But you know what I mean? Right. Because in slot machines, you never win the slot machines. If you've ever seen the movie Casino, the guy explains it. De Niro explains how next to impossible it is to hit a jackpot on a slot machine. And people just sit there just clink, clink for hours. I guess, you know what I mean? Since people do that, again, it's just one of those things. I don't understand taking your money and doing that. It's so weird. I just don't understand doing that.
Out to me and offered to help me with my banners, with my website, and didn't want any money in exchange.
Well, that's different.
She just reached out to me and said, "Dude,
waitress, you always got to tip your waiter."
Thank you for that. I really love that. Thank you. But again, your money is valuable. Nobody wants to take money and throw it in the street or throw it in the garbage. So these people who I mentioned, they're a safe bet. If you support them, your money is going to go to a very, very positive, constructive search for the missing.
Yeah.
Kyra, I don't know what you're apologizing about, but whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's one thing to donate money to someone like Duty Ron, who can actually help with an investigation in some way, and he still stays in his own lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though he's a former cop, all he does is apply his experience as a police officer, as a former homicide detective. All he does is apply that to delivering the information on a case that we're all talking about, which is great. It's insight. It's fantastic insight. It's insight that you can't rival. You know what I mean? You do yourself a favor and you listen to what he says if you're covering, if you're following a particular case. Yeah, Gray Hughes is awesome. Yeah, no, right. I mean, I'm saying, but Gray Hughes is like a savant, dude. Like the way that he covers cases is the most thorough thing I've ever seen. He's awesome.
I accept upon review of what you're apologizing over. I'll say that. But right now I accept. But I will review the chat and see what you're apologizing about. So my point is,
she probably dropped a name.
By a show of hands, do you guys understand the kind of I'm doing this and I'm making this video so you guys can see and know where the hearts are of this community here. We want to do good. We want to try to help find the missing. Corinna, thank you. Hello, Florida Pete. Bethella Young, thank you for being new. Anybody who is new, first time in the chat, first time stumbling across this community, let me know by putting a new in the chat. If you are old, just say, hey, I've been here. I've been here. I've been here. So let's see who's new and who's been here. Just put been here, BEEN here. I just want to see. Mystique is
Michelob. Okay. You do you.
New. Thank you. Hi, Josie. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Ancient. Hi, Ray. Pour me a drink, Ray. Pretty new. Thank you for being a channel member. Yvette has been here a long time. Tony Lee, Blair. Thank you. So looks like we have a good combination of a lot of regular people and returning people. I want to do in 2022, I want to do a campaign where I am going to try to support some of these folks that I mentioned here. I'm going to reach out to Jacob of Chaos Divers. I'm going to reach out to some of these dive teams because divers are needed. Just like I support Gene Robinson for the drone pilots. I support Chris Starnes from First to Deploy. Drones, searchers on the ground, EquiSearch, and our
what a crazy concept. What an insane way to get things done, Duty Ron. Like, what are you thinking? You mean to tell me that you're going to take your donors' money who care about the Summer Wells case, you want to take your supporters' money and pay professionals to help find her? That's insane, dude. That's crazy talk. Why wouldn't you give it to four criminals who have no idea what they're doing and go and so that they can go harass a victim's parents? Why wouldn't you do that? Because that's paying professionals to actually help find a missing child who are experienced in finding missing children. That's absurd, dude. I don't know what you're drinking. I don't know what you're smoking, but that's crazy talk. Thank you so much, Tammy Hillman. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Man, You mean you're not going to just pocket that money and go with a bullhorn and start screaming obscenities and get people fired from their jobs? What are you thinking, Duty Ron? Jeez, dude.
Divers, those three are the dynamic trios. Those are the three musketeers of searching. You need searchers on the ground. You need the divers when you have the bodies of water. And you need the drone pilots to search and do. That is the 1-2-3 punch. It's not a 1-2 punch. It's a 1-2-3 punch. These are the people who are so needed and so important to get out there, because without the divers, without the ground searchers, and without the drone pilots, it just doesn't work. So they all work collaboratively, and we cannot leave out the fourth element, the searchers with the dogs, the canines, the bloodhounds. There it is. Those four folks working together, hand in hand with law enforcement, is what's needed.
What's up, Crude? It's good to see you, dude.
To search for the missing. Not somebody screaming and yelling and carrying on and interviewing principals and witnesses and interviewing people and getting people drunk to come on their YouTube video channel. What does that do?
Nothing. Nothing.
These four people, these four elements that I mentioned here, is what gets the job done.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins. How are you? That's probably the most loaded question you could ask somebody in the last 2 years.
Shut up, banana hands.
Not some screaming lunatic, not some jagaloon that's going to go to someone's house and scream and yell at them. What does that do?
Nothing at all.
It doesn't guts. It does nothing. And if you want to listen, to each their own. If you want to support that, then have at it. But definitely, you're not going to find that here. I will not and will never support someone who is pulling and acting like a fool. It's just ridiculous.
Wait, what?
Does nothing.
What? Just sent BHB 2 privacy complaints doxing me and my mom, then bragged about she can get people's kids school. Jesus, dude. Like, she's not even trying to hide being a shithead anymore. She's not even trying to, like, it's crazy. Crazy.
It demeans the missing. It's demoralizing to the family.
Yep.
And it's counterproductive to the law enforcement.
Yes.
It makes law enforcement have to work harder because they got to go out and babysit these fools.
Yep. That is exactly why.
Thank you, Kathy Bates. I love you.
You heard it. You heard it from a retired homicide police detective from New York. A lot of people get killed in New York. I'm sure even more back in his day. So you just heard from a retired homicide NYPD detective how they are interfering negatively in the Summer Wells investigation. You just heard it. As a matter of fact, I'll play it one more time, just for those of you lurkers who are giving these idiots money, just so you know.
Acting like a fool. It's just ridiculous. Does nothing. It demeans the missing. It's demoralizing to the family.
Welcome, Yolanda RN. Thank you.
And it's counterproductive to the law enforcement. It makes law enforcement have to work harder because they got to go out and babysit these fools. Thank you, Kathy Bates. I love you. Chef Lady, message agreed. Charisma, thank you for being a channel member. Guys, if you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to this channel. Consider becoming a channel member, a Patreon supporter. Your money comes in and goes out to these great groups. I'm going to reach out to Jacob and some of these divers and try to see how we could support them. I might try to do a fundraising live stream where all of the money goes to a 501c3 nonprofit group so we could search for the missing. I'm really working on a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideas.
Wow, Yolanda RN, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I was asking questions that you already answered. Kyra, thank you. Vasily Carpenter, that's a good old Italian gal there. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. So, again, Jolene511, she says, I'm trying to help a friend having issues overseas, military. Send me an email on dutyron.com. All of those kind of things, send me something on dutyron.com. All right, guys, 22 minutes of me cackling and gabbing here. But listen, when Gabby Petito went missing, I reached out to Jim Schmidt. I reached out to Nicole Schmidt. I reached out to Joe Petito. And I didn't reach out to them to say, hey, will you come on my YouTube channel? I want to interview you. Will you do this? Will you do that? I reached out to him and I said, I am the law enforcement liaison with EquiSearch Midwest. And I can get drone pilots to come and help you search for your daughter in the Tetons. That was it. That's what I did.
God, dude,
that was
Ron,
it.
Jesus, you are such.
And along the way, we became friends.
You are such a selfish prick, man. Only thinking of yourself. Again, sarcasm.
Especially Nicole, Gabby's mom. And Nicole and I communicate on a regular basis. And the communication is just about her daughter's case. It's about what happened to her daughter. And
Burnt Toast, what's up? Great live last night.
That's it. But I don't go onto YouTube and blab about the things that we speak about because that would make me a jagaloon. I want to help them.
I love what he says.
And that's it. I want to help people get through a bad situation. I don't want to solve the case.
It's not.
That's the police job.
Right.
It's not our job.
This is coming from a retired cop, a retired homicide detective, not just some beat cop. A retired homicide detective is going, it's not my job to solve this case. There are professionals already charged with that responsibility. This is a guy who can help, but he's like, the best thing for any of us to do is stay in our own lane. So he has resources. He has a YouTube channel that raises money, and he is willing to donate this money towards resources that are professional divers, professional drone pilots. I mean, like...
Thank you for becoming a channel member. Lady is a Tramp, thank you for the super chat. I think I missed one. Oh, no. June DiCarlo, there it is. I didn't miss it. Thank you for the super sticker.
He knows it's absolutely irresponsible for him, even him, with all of his experience, even him, he knows that it's absolutely irresponsible for him to go down to come down here to Tennessee and start stomping around and knocking on doors. You know what I mean? Even with his experience as an investigator, he's like, no, it's like that would be bad. Like, there's already detectives working this, you know?
That's what we need to do. As people always say to me, Duty Ron, what can I do to help? I'm disabled. I'm out of shape. I can't go and search. What can I do to help? Find a good group of people. Find somebody who has good intentions and that repurposes their funds to these very groups that search for the missing. That's what you could do. If you have $5 to donate, Lake Lizard, you're the best. Gerda, I love you over there in South Africa. That's what you could do to help. If you have $5 you could spare and you want to send it to a good search group, send me a message. I'll tell you where to send it, or I'll put you in the right direction. You know, there's so many lifelong learner. I mean, listen, again, I could go on for hours here, but I only have.
That's how a YouTuber helps with an investigation. That's it. That is the best possible way that any YouTuber can use their channel to help with an investigation. That is on one end of the spectrum. The boobs are on the opposite end of the spectrum of how to help, how to use your YouTube channel for helping an investigation. I'm somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. Like, these things interest me and I like to create awareness for them. But the thing is this is funny because this is not my normal content. I haven't done this kind of thing since I was feuding with Critical K over the Sophie Long thing. Because Critical K was doing something very dangerous. She was using her platform to call a little girl a liar and a brat who was a victim of SA, allegedly. So to me, the way that I took that was she would have on average like 600-700 people watching her live streams and God knows how many replays. She would get thousands of views on this. And she had an audience that thought that she was the end all be all of intelligence when she's far from it. And then what if there's a teacher that feels this way about Critical K and what she says? What if there's a school teacher and then a child comes to them and says, I'm being assaulted, you know? Someone's touching me inappropriately and it's scary and I don't like it and blah, blah, blah. And then that teacher goes, and that teacher just has the simple attitude that that child is probably lying. See, that's a dangerous way to approach that. In my personal opinion, the responsible way to approach that is to assume that it's true in the sense of, okay, we need to talk to a law enforcement officer and have a professional sit down with this child, a forensic investigator, someone who conducts forensic interviews, who is trained in talking with children in situations of this nature. And if it's a lie, it's a lie, but you report it to law enforcement and let them work it out. That's what you do, because you cannot take the chance that this child is not going to be helped if they're going through this. You cannot, and not in my opinion. So this was the kind of thing that I was always speaking up against. I haven't been, I don't even know how many cases I've covered since the Summer Wells thing broke 7 months ago. I don't know how many. But then these idiots come up. And the reason why I haven't even been talking about Summer Wells is because there's literally no updates. No actual updates. Because like anybody with common sense, I've been sitting back and letting law enforcement handle this case and just waiting patiently for there to be an update. Because I don't have any doubt in my mind that they're doing everything they can to find Summer. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at right now on that. You know, like I'm loud and speaking up about these people because they are interfering with the investigation. The reason why I covered Summer Wells and talked about it, is because I care. It's local. That's also the reason why I covered the Joe Clyde Daniels case, because it was local. Now, I don't always just cover local cases. I'm just saying it hit home to me. Like literally, it hit home to me. So I looked into it and I talked about it and I presented all the facts and presented information. And of course, spoke against people jumping to the conclusion that Don and Candace had something to do with it. I've done a lot of that already. And then it was quiet. Nobody was doing it anymore. It was nice and quiet. And then these idiots emerge out of a cesspool and decide to completely and totally run amok all over this investigation. I completely agree. At this point, they need to be locked up. It's the only reason. Like that's how you tell the difference between somebody who actually gives a shit and somebody who doesn't. Because if you actually give a shit, then you pay attention to all the facts, and then you look at those facts in a critical manner, in a manner of critical thinking. You look at those facts, and then you realize that in this particular case, there are so little facts that lead to being actual evidence that it is irresponsible to jump to any conclusion whatsoever. We don't have enough information or facts on this case to draw a responsible conclusion as to what happened to Summer Wells. It cannot be done. Not by us. Maybe law enforcement knows more. Matter of fact, I'm sure they do. But we don't have enough. And more importantly, we're not qualified. We're not trained in this. Duty Ron is, but we're not. And these idiots are not. So for that bullhorn boob to just sit there on her channel and talk about how she's trained as a paralegal and blah, 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 blah. Like, no, dude. No, because everything that you say is bullshit and stupid. Like literally everything that comes out of her mouth, sometimes it starts to sound smart. Sometimes it starts to sound smart. Oh, Chasing's in here. What's up, Chasing? Sometimes it starts to sound smart, but then inevitably it turns into the biggest pile of stupidity that I've ever heard. And it tops each time. It tops each time. They outdo themselves each time. It's fascinating. Makes for great content. Makes for great content, but they never stop. And it gets worse and worse because the more people turn on them and the less people keep donating, they get frustrated. They start to implode. They start to get worse and worse because now, after I heard her straight up say, which I played at the beginning of this live stream, where she was saying we would never show up and protest at a creator's house. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. Why would we do that? Right? But now they're threatening to go protest in front of Crude AF's house, where he has a family, where he has children. And that is beyond infuriating. And the only reason they're threatening to do that is because they have already fucked up everything. They have been shown for the idiots and buffoons that they are. It has been presented abundantly all over YouTube, all over Twitter. Cosmo Kramer, let me see. Will Glare, I followed you when you only had under 100 subs and wanted to say I'm so happy to see your channel soar. I've been with you since Watts days. You've grown a lot. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That's awesome, dude. Like, that's fucking cool. Like, thank you for that. Yeah, and she doxed Crude AF and his mom. Like, and Crude AF was just in here saying something about that she was bragging about finding kids' schools. So she's threatening his kids, and people are throwing money at them and supporting this. I told Crude AF, I was like, yo, man, like, if you need me to come out there, I will. I fucking will. Love your channel, Bullhorn Boob. I'm dead. Jail is a perfect place for them. It will bring them back to reality. Alex Glitter Queen, thank you so much for that. Yeah. See, I've already been doxxed. I've been doxxed. Like, they can't do anything with me. The worst they can do is take the word of a completely and totally psycho ex of mine, and I have court documents versus her word, which I've already shown on here. It did nothing. This one idiot channel decided to take all that information, and, well, it was actually Critical K that doxed me. Critical K got the information from my psycho ex, and then she put it out on her Discord and her Patreon members. And then some other creator went over it so that she could have her hands clean. But I got proof. I got screenshots, because I got eyes everywhere, man. I got screenshots of Critical K saying, here's the stuff on the Glarer from his ex. Do what you want with it. And I showed those screenshots here. Yeah, because that's what happens. That's what happens. When someone is proven to be completely and totally full of shit on social media, they throw a tantrum. When these people who are shitty people who throw what they end up doing is throwing a tantrum when they have nothing left. They've been proven to be jackasses by numerous other creators. So now they throw tantrums and they want to go real life. And they want to threaten people's families. And they want to call CPS. I've been doxxed, so I'm not worried about my stuff out there. I just don't want my family being thrown into it. Yeah, same here. Same here. I almost didn't do what we've been doing this whole time. I almost didn't do it after Jonathan Lee Rich's Chad fucking put my family's name out there on Twitter. I was like, fuck. And then I let my brother know. I was like, hey man, like, you got to understand this is what's going on. I showed him the screenshots. And then I explained to him what kind of people they are. And he was like, fuck them. He was like, fuck them. Those were his exact words to me. And so I was like, cool. As long as you're cool with it. Yeah. So yeah, it's asinine. Yeah, don't dox people, dude. Don't dox people. Like, that's not okay. I think he's done pretty much.
30 minutes.
About 5 more minutes of this.
This is not a full list of seeing. This is not a full list of me mentioning. But look, my father, who is deceased quite a while now. My dad died of cancer. His number 328 is coming up. Now it's 329. But we had 328 people in this chat. That was my father's number, and it keeps going back and forth between three.
See, if these people see, that's all it takes is to speak volumes. What these people go real life because they cannot fight or counter logic. You can't do it. When you're right, you're right. I'm right. All these other creators that are talking about them are right. You can't deny what's right is right. It just is. There's no, that's just not my opinion, blah, blah, blah. No, it's dead fucking wrong to harass a family of a missing person. It's dead wrong. And it's dead wrong to milk money out of your subscribers under false pretenses. It's dead wrong. It's dead wrong to accuse people of having or being criminals when you have the longest criminal record that I've ever even looked at, and a violent one. A violent one. Yeah. And it's Burnt Toast, you're right. They can't have a conversation like an adult, so they make threats. Exactly. Because they can't. They don't have an argument. They know for sure, because the offer is still up. All of those idiots, any one of them or all of them, are welcome to join me on this panel and speak their mind and tell me and explain to me and explain to my audience and make me look stupid. Convince my audience why what you're doing is the right thing to do and it's the right way to do things. Please. I would be happy to give them a mic and let them explain. I would be more than happy. But they won't do it. They won't do it. Jonathan Lee Rich's excuse is, I'm not going to get you any clicks and views. I'm not going to do anything to promote your channel. Dude, it's going to promote yours. If you feel so strongly with so much conviction about what you're doing, right? Like, how's it going to hurt you to change the minds of the people that are in this chat right now? How's it going to hurt you? Since you have so much conviction, right? You believe in what you're doing so much? Well, come on up. Convince my audience. Get some more money. They'll throw money at you if they believe in what you're doing because you're fighting the good fight, right? But no, you won't come up here because you know you will get torn to shreds with nothing but truth and logic. That is all. I will metaphorically put you on your ass in this chat, and you know it, or on this panel, and you know it. All of them know it. So, and it speaks volumes. And the reason why Molly Golightly doesn't mention my name is because she is afraid that her audience will come check it out and they're going to hear logic and go, shit, I didn't look at it that way. They know that's exactly what's going to happen. All of these creators. The only reason Boob mentioned my name last night, that's exactly why they haven't mentioned Burnt Toast. Or at least I haven't heard them. But Burnt Toast would destroy them. Why? Because she's a logical person. They're not. She's a rational person. They are not. They are afraid of their audience having logic and rationality presented to them. That is what they are afraid of, period. They're afraid that we are going to take more money out of their pockets. And we're not getting that money. we're just making people realize that they're flushing money down the toilet. That's all. That's all we're doing. And the funny thing is like I said before, this is the funny thing, is the foundation. So if you're just joining us, this is a very important point that I made earlier, and I want to make again, especially now that I have Crude and Burnt Toast watching. We don't walk around acting like we're a team. We don't do that. I'm completely independent from any of them, and they are completely independent from each other, except for maybe Burnt Toast and Crude AF because they come from the same community, but they're still independent. I've never seen them do live streams together. They don't call themselves a team. You know what I mean? None of us call ourselves a team, but we are all making the same valid points, and we all feel very strongly about the points that we're making because that is the foundation. And we have yet to turn on each other. We have yet to, I mean, that speaks volumes because these idiots call themselves a team, but they have no foundation. They don't have anything that's holding them together because each one of them is absolutely 100% self-serving. That's it. Each one of them is absolutely self-serving. So when you're a self-serving asshole, then what ends up happening is you end up getting greedy. And then you end up getting jealous of the other people that you've teamed up with. And then you end up getting paranoid. Are they doing something behind my back? Are they trying to get this from me? Are they blah, 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 blah? Because they're shitty people. They're bad people. All four of them. And this is why they're coming apart. And they can't handle criticism because they know somewhere in there, even though they delude themselves that they're doing the right thing, they know that the criticism that they're getting is true. Somewhere in there, they get that. And that's why it triggers them to be criticized, because they have no foundation and no conviction behind what they're doing. No foundation holding what they're doing strong. Because it's not anything good. It's not anything right. Deep down, they know they're just being abusive assholes. Deep down, they know. She had the nerve, this woman. She still hasn't taken any. She has 42 arrests. 42. How many DUIs? I mean, most of them being assaults, somewhere involved with some sort of domestic violence, right? And she's like calling us hypocrites because we're saying that we believe in due process. And since we believe in due process, it's bullshit that we would accuse her without any convictions, because she hasn't been convicted of anything. Lady, that's because you intimidated your victims to not pressing charges. That's why. Because those are in the official police reports. Like, so don't come at me with that. Did due process work in your favor? Yeah, you did. But you did it in a shitty way because you intimidated and threatened people. The same personality behind you putting your hands on people that you say you love, that same personality is how you got out of taking any accountability for your actions. That's it. That's what you applied. Bring it, man. Bring it. Please. I would love to have her on this channel. I would love to. Actually, I'd rather be on hers. I'd rather be on hers. I'd rather get to speak to her audience. I would love that. I don't give a shit how many idiots are in the chat tearing me up. I don't care about that. See, I don't worry about that because I'm not an insecure piece of shit. I know what I'm doing and I know why I do it. I know what I'm doing and I know why I do it. DeGlaire, imagine if she were a man who said about his wife, well, she refused to press charges, so I'm not abusive. Yeah, exactly. If the roles were reversed, yeah, she doesn't get that this is the issue here, right? I mean, yeah, it's insane to me. And people swallow that shit. Why? Because she's a woman? Like, it's crazy to me that people support that shit. That people don't see through that. But yeah, like I said, I would love to be able to talk to her audience. I would love that. But she'll never do that. She'll never do that. because the most redeeming quality of all four of these people, the most redeeming quality of them all, each one of them, is that they're cowards. That's pathetic. That's the most redeeming thing that I can, the most endearing thing that I can say about any four of them is that they're simply cowards. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for the super chats. I love you. We will do this again very, very soon, my friends. If you haven't subscribed or hit the like button, please do that. Let's get this algorithm going so that we can get the word out there about these people and why what they're doing is wrong. Like I said, guys, we will do this again very soon, my friends.